High school trips are always bound to go wrong at some point. It doesn't matter how hard the teachers are working, at the end of the trip they still lost half their sanity and never want to talk to you again. I've went to many school trips, and by trips I mean going outside the city or in another country. The first one, back when we were 13 years old, went well besides the fact that we destroyed our hotel room and we ended up sleeping on the floor. Also, at the end of the trip, on our way back home, my friends were launching bottles of water at each other in the tour bus. We were doing it whilst the teachers had their back turned, and of course when I threw mine, it exploded all over the floor and covered the entire bus. This happened because my dumbass friend that we'll call Mike unscrewed the cap just enough so that it would explode on its second hit. The second trip though went catastrophic. It was Mike, Paul and Nick in the bedroom and we went berserk. We were about 15 years old and basically we went to New York. The first event that went wrong happened in the Chinese district on the first day. It was me and Paul. We were walking just like any tourist looking at the people's product, and the first mistake my friend made was to pick a fake Gucci wallet on the floor and try to find the seller, which was somehow far from us. When that guy saw Paul, he thought we were going to steal and threatened us with a gun. The trip was going to last 4 days and on the first day Paul was already traumatized. Although the second day went fine, the third day stayed memorable even to this day. It all happened during the night. We had a suitcase worth of candy and we were munching on it. That day our sugar levels went through the roof. My friend Paul though was going to have it rough. On that legendary night, he drank 1.5 liter of Orange Crush and ate half an enormous box of those chemical bananas. At 11 o'clock, I went to the bathroom to shower, but this motherfucker came through the door like a beast and started puking everywhere in the bathtub. The two others were almost pissing themselves out of laughter. Gladly, when that happened, I was done showering. I don't know why he puked in the bath, but he tainted the whole bath shower curtain orange. Even the towels were orange at this point. But even I was laughing at his dumbass. The next day we had no towels to dry ourselves. Now comes the last trip. It was still Paul, Mike and Nick. Now we were 16 years old and this went even worse. This all happened in Boston. This trip was going to last for 3 days. And the night we arrived, those fuckers had bought chips and they had a lot of them. They opened all the bags and crushed the chips and dispersed it all over the room. The floor and the beds were all chips. At that moment, the teachers knocked and entered the room to check on us. But right before they were in the bedroom, our friend Nick threw a blanket on the floor to cover the chips and put a pillow on top. When the teachers asked why, he just said that he was feeling comfortable on the floor since we were messing around. It worked and they left. Having learned from my mistake, I went directly to the shower. When I was done, Mike rushed in. He said he needed to take a dump, but strangely, he just went straight for the shower. 5 minutes later, he was screaming in the shower to attract our attention. Bro was shitting in the shower for fun. I have never been more happier to have showered first. He opened the door for us to see and he really shat in there. He did pick it up and wash the shower, but we were still convinced there was still shit in there. The next day we were doing a tour of Harvard and we were allowed to venture around for 5 hours once the tour was made. 2 hours later, I started having cramps. I really needed to do a number 2 ASAP. I was with Paul and our friend group, which was composed of 6 people, myself included. So while they were laughing at me, I went first to a spy shop and they did not have toilets. I also went to a pharmacy and their toilet wasn't functioning, so then we went to a grocery store and they had a big line. So 2 hours later, with a diarrhea and my hand up in my bum to make sure it wouldn't explode until I entered a safe space, we all went back to Harvard and went to the second floor of the student, worker or whatever building. And of course, the moment I approached the toilet, a random guy went in. So I started banging on the door to tell him to please get out. And 2 minutes later, like nothing happened, he left. I rushed in and I swear, the moment I took my hand off there, this shit went flying everywhere. The toilet, the wall, the floor, and even the sink that was in front of me got tainted. Once I opened the door, my friends were so happy and one of them rushed inside to film this crime scene. The next day went well besides the fact that everyone knew about it. But don't worry, even I was laughing about it. But yeah, so on the third day the school decided to take us to an aquarium and watch a documentary. We didn't watch it and instead slept to recover from the short night we had just before. The rest of the trip went well only because we were too tired to mess around. I hope you enjoyed the madness of those high school trips, and I will do another one if you guys like it. So please like the video and don't forget to subscribe. See ya.